Oba! Como vão? Tudo bom? Fala, caralho, seja bem-vindo à live. Que bonitinho esse emoji do Charmander com tudo queimando atrás. Muito criativo, cara. Eu gosto bastante dessa artista, acho ela bem talentosa. Oba! Como é que vai? Novidades? Estamos aqui muito felizes para ler mais 2 rotas do jogo de Pesterquest hoje. A semana passada a gente leu a rota do Solux e depois a rota do Eridan. Justamente os dois que se odeiam e os dois que tem sotaquezinho na hora de falar, né? Que eu adoro fazer a vozinha deles. A semana passada foi doida. Hoje a gente vai fazer 2 personagens mais tranquilinhas, que seriam a Feferi, que apesar de ser da casta mais alta e tal, ela não é tão cuzona quanto a Mina, que seria o Troll Alpha. Ela, como Troll Beta lá, ela é muito mais amorzinho. E teremos a Jane, dos humanos Alpha. A Jane ela não é um tão amorzinho quanto a Feferi. Ela tem o... pisar no calo dela ali é complicado. Mas é uma adolescente, né? Aí já viu. Mas enfim, elas são diferentes uma da outra. Mas são ambas 2 garotas adolescentes. Uma alien, a outra humana. E era exército que teremos pra hoje. Você não sabe responder qual o filme de aventura favorito? Eu também não, somos 2 pessoas. Eu esqueci que eu tinha que tirar a lente. Eu vou ter que tirar a lente depois. Agora já comecei a live. Bom. Era exército. Eu vou começar aqui a ler então. Acho que... de fato, somos 2 pessoas. Com essa mesma dificuldade, eu quis dizer. Eu acho que a rota delas vai ser pequena igual. Tipo, vai ser a média do que estava sendo até então. Acredito que a única rota que realmente vai ser um pouquinho maior agora é a última, que é a do Dirk. Isso pelos walkthroughs que eu li na internet. Nós somos Venom! Vimão! Esse áudio é bom. Bom, vou ler aqui então. Lembrando que eu leio em inglês, as de Pesterquest. As you've had occasion to remark before, Alternia is a dark world. Both because it's night all day long, and because of its hideously brutal society, where the strong prey on the weak prey on the weaker. And all this preying ends only when the survivors are shipped out to prey on everyone else in the galaxy. Obrigada pelo lurk. Bom desenho pra você, Kikato. Alternia's cruelty has been on your mind for a long time, but recently it's begun to feel intolerable. You decide to take a walk in the woods to calm yourself, but it seems that with every step your mood only grows darker, your agitation greater. As you walk, you remember the names of Alternian friends who have fallen to the planet's injustices, and your mood goes from bad to worse. You've been waiting around like a spoiled, self-centered narrative device for a lightning bolt of elimination to reveal your reason for living. To explain your peculiar and insatiable hunger for friendship, and to show you the destiny attached to it. You think you know who caused this, but why? You've been sitting here like a child waiting for a teacher to explain the answer to a difficult math question. Vriska and Terezi are arming up to change the world. And what are you doing? Your usual bullshit. You're thinking. You're navel-gazing. And then, with a sudden blinding clarity, you understand. Vriska is right. Terezi is right. The answer is revolution. Cadê o ONU nessas horas, né? Who gives a shit? Who cares what some big dumb universe thinks your destiny should be? You take Dream Boulder's advice and choose your own fate. Take the answer to the meaning of your life into your own hands. Set your own course. The gods, the fates, the universe, or whoever will have to jump back pretty sharply because your direction is clear to you at last. Fala, chamaram. Hoje é tudo em inglês, meu filho. Eu leio esse jogo aqui em inglês. Tudo bom com você? Como vai? Novidades? Your agitation turns to indignation. Your indignation to outrage. Outrage to anger. Anger to fury. Fury to ferocity. Ferocity to white-hot resolve. The horrors of this planet have got to stop. And you are feeling particularly dramatic today. Doubtless due in part to the shift in narrative, tone, and general prose quality in this episode. So now is the time. Lembrando que esse jogo ele foi escrito por mais de uma pessoa. Foram várias pessoas, aliás. Poucas rotas tiveram a mão do próprio Andrew Hussey, criador de Homestuck, no universo em que se passa essa história. Mas assim, o que a pessoa tá querendo dizer é, essa rota aqui foi escrita por uma pessoa diferente da rota anterior, tipo isso. Gostasse? Eu também gostei do cover. Ai, pessoal, muito bom aquele cover, gostei. Fiz mais coisas das lives, talvez mês que vem eu comece. Mês que vem tá logo aí, então vamos ficar de olho no Chamarion. Você pretende fazer só no YouTube, né? O seu nome já diz tudo. Alternatious cruelty and violence have upset and shocked you since you arrived. But as more and more of the population suffering under these wrongs have become your personal friends, it has become unbearable. You've been wondering all along who will make it stop. Esse jogo é uma visual novel. Se chama Pesterquest. Ele é baseado no universo de uma webcomic muito famosa, mas também muito nichada, que se chama Homestuck. Homestuck está disponível em português, mas não em sua totalidade, são mais de 8.000 páginas. A língua original é em inglês. É uma webcomic que ela foi publicada entre 2009 e 2016. Aí eu li Homestuck uma vez, 10 anos atrás, e daí eu reli ano passado, eu terminei de reler. Eu reli 2022 e 2023. Aí ano passado, no final do ano, cravadinho ali, eu tava fazendo lives. Eu fiz mais de 60 lives no meu canal principal do YouTube, lendo Homestuck, lendo em inglês. Você pode ler, tipo, tem até o ato 3 em português, até algumas intermissões. Essa história consiste em 7 atos, só que ela tem subatos e tem intermissões entre os atos. Ela é muito extensa.
Está no bonde do poder faz 37 meses. Opa, boa noite, Zizibs. Boa noite, pessoal. Ficou lindo aquele cover com a Esther?
Seja muito bem-vindo, Vimon. Obrigada pelo resub. Tu é bruxão mesmo. Obrigada. Eu também acho que aquele cover ficou lindo, maravilhoso. É o que eu sempre quis, né? É muita coisa, muita coisa. Se você quiser ver, tem um... Eu tenho... não. Eu mesma não sei o meu comando. No meu canal principal, é esse primeiro aí. Ele tem a playlist lá, Lendo Homestuck com as Zizibs. Aí você pode se inteirar mais da história. É uma história muito louca. Tem viagem no tempo, tem, sabe? A história é contada no meio, quando vai pro começo, quando vai pro final. É muito doida. Haja disposição pra você ficar sabendo mais sobre Homestuck. Essa visual novel, ela se aprofunda no universo de Homestuck, mas é como se os eventos da história em si, canônicos, como se fosse uma linha alternativa em que eles não acontecem. Aí ele também bebe muito da fonte de dating simulator, né? De você conhecer pretendentes. Aqui no caso eu não conheço pretendentes. Aqui no caso o meu personagem protagonista, ele tá atrás de fazer amizade mesmo. Tanto que vai ter um jogo, que é o Friend Sim, Hive Swap, Friend Sim, negócio assim. Que é também desse universo. Ele vai ser tipo o Pesterquest, só que ele vai ser pra outros personagens. Personagens que a gente não conhece até então. Eu não sei se eu tô fazendo a coisa certa jogando Pesterquest antes de jogar o Friend Sim, mas agora já foi, já tô quase no final do Pesterquest. E claro, como eu tô fazendo Pesterquest em live, assim como eu fiz o Hive Swap, que é outro jogo do universo de Homestuck, eu também fiz em live, eu vou trazer o Friend Sim em live também. Não sei se eu ainda vou estar aqui na Twitch quando eu fizer isso, mas qualquer coisa tem meu canal de jogos no YouTube que eu tô pretendendo fazer live lá. Eu não sei se mês que vem eu vou começar a fazer live lá. Depende de quando eu vou terminar o Pesterquest, que daí eu fico com um dia da semana pra fazer live, que eu tô louca de vontade de trazer Life is Strange 2 no meu canal do YouTube, fazendo live lá. Eu já joguei esse jogo, mas eu quero rejogar ele em live. E agora voltando aqui pro jogo. Now you know the answer. If you're the main character, then you have to be the one to get the ball rolling. And you've begun to suspect that you can't die for reasons seemingly tied to your function as a narrative device. So that's a bit of characterization you can bring to bear. No longer we will linger in the wings, waiting for the narrative to summon you to heroics. With this momentous decision girding you for unstinting effort, eu não faço ideia do que é girding, o que é unstinting, you set your mind to the question of how to accomplish it. Mas é pra isso que a gente pergunta pro chat, o chat vai lá, pesquisa e fala pra gente, entendeu? Pisca, pisca. You start by making an inventory of the strengths and weaknesses you possess and can bring to bear on the task. Strengths. 1. Experience drumming up friendship in the most unlikely situations. 2. Ability to travel instantaneously anywhere you want to go. Weaknesses, everything else. This helpful mental exercise clarifies matters significantly. You see clearly that the only way for a single humble being such as yourself to change Alternia is to go directly to the point of maximum leverage. In other words, straight to the top. You'll need both of your resources in this quest. You'll need to travel superhumanly and superliminally into the immediate company of Alternia's ruler and throw your full friendship game on them, with the objective of persuading them to initiate reforms, change rules, and set the planet on a course to civilization. But your darting intellect realizes something else. It won't be easy. The ruler of a world such as Alternia must be a fearsome, foul creature, a monster of no ordinary loathsomeness and cruelty. On Alternia, you've seen gigantic ravening Luci, genocidal clowns, murderous high-bloods, and every kind of grisly crime, to a point making belief in Santa Claus almost impossible. It stands to reason that the leader of such a world must also be the cruelest, gruesomest, most terrifying being of them all, a being of nearly impossible evil. For the first time since this plan caught fire in your mind, a whisper of doubt creeps in. It occurs to you that the most likely outcome of your quest for the reformation of Alternia is a scenario where your internal organs are festooned over a wide area, your eyes popped out of your skull, and your brain splattered to a fine mist. While experience suggests that you're non-killable, that sort of thing may offend, not to mention be excruciatingly painful. Maybe it would be a better idea to have a light lunch and lie down until your reforming mood passes. press on fearlessly with your quest. I am going to go in the first. Yeah. Oh, come on. If you, an indispensable narrative device with nearly superhuman befriending powers and actually superhuman traveling powers, won't try to reform Alternia, who will? Have you no pride? No grit? No old college spirit? Go back and select the right answer. Oh my, quando você diz desse jeito. Yeah. Como eu não posso escolher o de cima, eu vou ter que escolher o de baixo. Scorning all difficulties, you decide to press on fearlessly with your quest. You gather yourself, consign your soul to heaven or whatever, and prepare for the worst. You close your eyes and think, take me to the highest being on Alternia. Then you grit your teeth and prepare for the ultimate horror. You feel the familiar sensation of superhuman/superluminal travel, and the world changes around you, rendering you somewhere else, somewhere that feels quite different from your previous forest location. Very different, actually. A lot to utter. Gloob gloob. It quickly becomes apparent that there's good news and bad news. The good news is that instead of an eldritch monster, you've materialized next to a rather pleasant-looking troll girl with fins on her head and wearing goggles and a tiara. The bad news is that you're drowning, as you seem to have materialized in the middle of an ocean. Not just an ocean, an alien ocean. Glub! Kelp! Your own greeting may seem a bit less cheery in that it consists of thrashing wildly with your eyes bugging out as you fight not to inhale while trying to concentrate on zapping yourself the heck out of there. The troll girl watches in astonishment, but suddenly seems to understand. You see her take a big breath of water through some gills on her neck, and then something starts to come out of her mouth. A bubble. Oh my. The bubble expands and expands until you feel its boundary break over you, and suddenly you can breathe. You collapse, coughing and gasping onto its floor, which feels like the inside of a huge submerged balloon, yielding but effectively keeping the water at bay. I like this song that's playing. I like it. The water song, I guess. The troll girl sits across from you in the bottom of the bubble, studying you curiously and anxiously. Is it just me, or does this give the vibe of Steven Universe and Connie meeting for the first time? Glub, 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 glub. Are you okay? Recovering from your brush with drowning, you're able to notice with relief that despite her conversational quirks, she looks friendly, even glad to see you. You try to say something, but all that comes out of your mouth is water and a spluttering sound. I don't speak whatever language that is. It's very pretty though. You burp and some water trickles out of your ears. Sorry, I still don't understand. Do you speak any Alternian? With a great effort, you gasp, yes. Oh, yay! My name is Fairy Patience. Glub glub. What's your name? You bubble weakly. It's nice to meet you, blub. You nod politely, expel another half-gallon of water, then weakly say that it's very nice to meet her too. Not least because if she hadn't been there, things might have gotten unpleasant for you. You're welcome, but what are you doing here? Almost nobody comes this way. It's not really on the way to Anemonware. She looks sad when she says it, and you wonder what some poor troll child should be living all by herself. way out in these submerged parts, so far from anyone. Let me check one thing. Okay. Just a minute, just a minute. Right. Where was I? Okay. How did you manage to appear from nowhere like that? You almost gave me a heart attack, glub glub. You tell her you are trying to use some superhuman powers you have to go visit the highest being on Alternia. The troll girl seems to perk up at this. You wanted to come visit me? You shake your head vigorously to try to get the water out of your ears. The troll girl looks disappointed. Glub, you didn't come to see me? You apologize and say that you're quite happy to be visiting her, but that you misheard her last remark. You thought she had implied that she was the highest being on Alternia. Just goes to show you how deep submergence and waterlogging can cloud your hearing. Oh no, Glub, you heard me right. I am the highest being on Alternia. It's kind of complicated to read parentheses. Most of the time, I'm the future Empress, heiress to the throne of the Alternian Empire, which is a great big glubbing pile of whale poop as far as I'm concerned. What? You look around for the multiple razor-toothed, fire-breathing, acid-spitting heads, tearing claws, and that bad attitude that you're sure Alternia's highest being must have. But then you start to remember your Alternian socio-science. You haven't had any formal Alternian education. You're not even sure narrative devices, however indispensable, are eligible to sign up for classes. But you pick this stuff up when you hang around a place long enough. Glooby Glooby, fala Rica, tudo bom? Como vai? Boa noite. Boom. So, you know that the Empress spends most of her time off-planet leading merciless troll hordes in conquest of the galaxy. You also know that there's only ever one other member of her royal fuchsia bloodline, the heiress, in existence at any time, as long as the Candace doesn't cue her on her rare visits to the home planet, that is. Estou bem também, obrigado por perguntar. Hoje vamos de Feferi. Você viu que gostosinha a hoste? Hoste de fase de água é muito boa, né? Eles sempre colocam um tempero a mais nessas hostes. Boa noite, Billy Green. Um filme de aventura, o gênero aventura. Eu não sei mais como te explicar. Tipo, Indiana Jones, não sei. The troll girl glubs sadly, and you realize that being the only fuchsia blood on the planet must be lonely. Tem muitos trolls que são solitários, né? Devia juntar eles tudo pra eles pararem de ser solitários juntos. Not only would you have enough strength to accidentally tear any troll who visited you limb from limb without noticing, but you've heard some sinister things about the Harris Lucis. Something about it being the size of a continent, hungry as the void of space, and evil as the hell devils go to if they are bad devils. Something that might discourage casual visits by friends who don't want to double as snacks. But at the same time, you wonder what that such a seemingly agreeable and sensitive troll as this girl could preside over such a grindingly horrible planet as Alternia. How can she live with herself? Does she even know what goes on outside her insular little ocean? But you put all that aside for now. Here you are, right where you wanted to be when you made your master plan for Alternian reform. You haven't been devoured, dismembered, or decapitated, and the person you want to persuade seems eminently persuadable, not to mention friendable. So, you're ahead of the game so far. Time to take full advantage. Your Royal Highness, you begin. Blub, call me Faf, Blub. It's much friendlier to be on a fish name basis, and I'm so happy and excited to have another friend. Perfect phase 1 of your plan seems to have practically accomplished itself. But there's no time to waste, as the air in the bubble your new friend created is starting to get stuffy, and you know you're going to have to zap out of there soon. You mention in a casual conversational tone that you've been visiting Alternia for some time now. Glub, do you like it? It's certainly unusual. That's putting it lightly. I'm sure everyone has been incredibly mean to you. Well, yes, to start off with, at least. The sea dwellers think they're so much better than everybody else, but they're just a bunch of shellfish, arrogant vassals. Vassals, foi de fuder. The high bloods prey on the low bloods, and no one cares how other people feel, or even if they live or die. Drones fly around, curling anybody weak or useless. Oh, well, she seems to know. Huh, maybe she's got plans of her own. Phase 2 of your plan is half in the bag already. You feel dizzy suddenly at how your quest is working out without the least effort on your part, and also from lack of oxygen. O Império Contra-Ataca, Tubarão, Odisseia no Espaço, Mad Max, Willy Wonka do Johnny Depp. Meu Deus. You're gasping for breath, and a darkness is gathering at the edge of your vision. In about a minute, you're going to pass out from oxygen deprivation. What's to be done? I can zap myself the heck out of there and back to Alternia's surface, where you can at least breathe. Or I can stick around and test out the whole you can't die hypothesis. I'm going to test this time. You're fading fast. A black tunnel is closing around you, and sounds are getting dim. You wiggle your fingers and try to gasp out an entreaty. Glub, are you okay, Blub? For reply, you clutch your throat, fall heavily to the floor, and lose consciousness. Oh, thank God. I thought that was a dead end. You gradually regain consciousness, and as you do, you realize that air is going through your lungs. Fresh, oxygenated air. The most beautiful thing you've ever felt. Eu gostei dessas cortinas aqui. You realize also that you're in a palatial, though messy, bedroom, and while you can see underwater realms outside the windows, the room itself is dewatered. The fresh air... Oh my god, que belezinha. Ah, obrigada pelo pate-pate, Shun. Tudo bom? Novidades? E aí? Fala, Matheus. Chegou junto com o Shun. Tristeza acabou. Teteu sem gagá. Viu quem estará em Hades 2? Quem? Eu não vi não, quem? Cenário lembra 3 espiãs demais. Ah, esse negócio aqui parece um negocinho que elas usam de comunicador mesmo. Celione, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Demeter, Artemis, Odisseu! Odisseu, my boy! E o Cronos. Caralho! Selinoe. Eu não sei quem é. Caraca! Que povinho bom que vai estar lá, hein? Caralho. The fresh air seems to be coming from a large conch shell sitting on the floor nearby and humming quietly like an air purifier. You're swooned on a chaise lounge and Feferi Patius is fanning you with a large palm frond. Punch Punch Forever. Foi muito bom dublar Nono, me diverti muito. Meu filme de aventura favorito é aquele do virando técnico de futebol, 11 homens e um sem... Meu Deus do céu, Matheus! Que escândalo. Glub, are you alright, Blub? Why didn't you tell me you couldn't breathe? You scared the piscine out of me. You struggle upright and try to smile bravely. You apologize for scaring her, but observe that one of the symptoms of not being able to breathe is not being able to talk. You thank her effusively for saving you. Fala, Small Geek, eu estou lendo uma das rotas do jogo de Pesterquest. Uma alienígena aquática está me socorrendo, já que eu estou debaixo d'água e não sei respirar debaixo d'água. Glub, that's an empress duty. Instead of encouraging people to be mean and hurt each other, she should whatever she should do whatever she can do to help them. Com certeza o Matheus faz isso. A tear comes to your eye and a lump to your throat when she says that. If she really means it, you have a couple of suggestions. Of course I mean it. I'm glad that how abyssal things have been around here. When I'm Empress, things are going to be different. You respectfully wonder how long it will be before she becomes Empress. Only a couple thousand more sweeps? Oh, cool. What happens to everyone on Alternia in the meantime? Feferi looks momentarily thoughtful. I don't know. I haven't thought of that part out. I guess I'm not equal to my big ideas. Meu Deus. And what if, when she becomes Empress, she feels differently? How does she know her Imperious condescension didn't feel the same way as Feferi does now when she was her age? Because Mina was a bitch, that's why. What if there's something that makes adult Empresses evil, something they can't control? What if Feferi grows up to be socially liberal but fiscally conservative? What a horrible thought. You have to strike while the iron is hot. Never leave till tomorrow what you can do today. A stitch in time saves 9. Procrastination is the thief of time. Eu acho que esse quadro aqui ele foi escrito totalmente pra mim. Me senti atacada. The longest journey starts with a single step. It's no use crying over spilled milk. You hope Feferi has been convinced because you're running out of cliches. Glub. The Harris still looks uncertain. Everything you say is plumb and true, but rebelling against the Empress, it would be so dangerous, and I'm not sure it would be right. It might cause Glub to make the vast Glub. That would destroy everyone, you know? Oh, Glub, you mean Gulp. You didn't realize that. You're not sure what the vast Glub is, but it sounds bad. Oh, it is. Before we do anything, we need more guidance and advice. As Harris, I have a special metaphysical periscope, you know? You didn't know that. It sounds made up. But a little metaphysical advice certainly might come in handy at a time like this. Without further delay, the Harris goes to an ornate jewel-encrusted tube that rises from the floor of her palatial bedroom. It seems to extend into the underwater depths, though air pressure seems to be keeping the water from flowing through it into the room. Wish, claro. Não é Wish, não, gente. É Vish o nome desse filme. Vish! Filme ruim. She yells into the tube louder than you would have thought someone so agreeable looking could yell. Vixe Maria! É ruim. Depois que você fica sabendo tudo que poderia ter sido, é ruim pra caramba. Glub, 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 glub. There's a swishing, gurgling sound, and something extends up through the tube into the room. Something pale and featureless as a lizard, but unmistakably a tentacle. Um tentáculo com olhos. Nossa, isso não parece bom. Ah, fazer vídeo análise vai esperar sentado, Rica. A tentacle with a bulbous eye on the end of it. You dive behind a luxurious sofa. You'd rather that the Harris losers didn't see how plump and tasty you look. But almost immediately, the eye settles itself on top of the tube and hardens into something that looks like a very large crystal ball. Shapes move and change inside this crystal ball, then resolve themselves into a scene. A scene you realize with a shock. You come out from behind the sofa and approach the crystal ball, staring into it. In its depths, a dark place appears, and in the dark place, a carnival carousel rotates, wooden horses going up and down, and above them, naked plastic mannequins with plastic wings hang from wires. The Dark Carnival! Jumping Jehoshaphat? Is that where Feferi gets her metaphysical advice? The scene grows clearer and closer, zooming in on one of the horses and on the figure riding it. Your heart begins to beat wildly. It can't be, but... Honk. Esse personagem eu já não conheço. Suddenly, you're dancing around the room with joy. You grab Feferi and whirl her with you as you dance. At first, she gasps in surprise, but then she gets into the spirit, grins, and begins to whirl too. Her strength is such that she spins you like a fan blade, your blood all going to your legs, and when she lets you go, you hit the wall like a bullet and ooze down to the floor. But... esse aqui, pelo menos, ele tem uma carinha bonitinha, né? Fala, Forjart, tudo bom? É Mario? Caraca, eu não vi o Mario até hoje, o filme. Boa noite, como vai? Tudo bom? Novidades? But, as you recover consciousness, your joy is barely containable. You never thought to see that sweet, sweet fellow again, and now here he is! And evidently he's come up in the world because he's communicating exclusively with a royal fuchsia blood princess. Mario padrão não se arrisca muito. Que Mario, né? You're so proud your heart feels about to explode. My friend Glub here. They have a plan. Well, you wouldn't go that far. I'm just not sure what to do. Honk, 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 honk. Caraca. Just hold on. Feferi adjusts some controls on the bejeweled tube. They must be translation controls, cause in mid-sentence, Karako's remarks change from semantic honks into conventional language forms. And when they do, you realize that this isn't the same Karako you knew way back when. Honk honk. What you ask is not simple, little one. To truly know the answer, you must learn that there is much more to your story than meets the eye. Jogo para recomendar. Mande nome que pesquisarei a demo. You must expand your vision to see the big picture, and the even bigger picture of which that big picture is only a pixel. Yes, I know that. This isn't the usual glub shit. Se fuder. Not silly quadrant glub shit for wigglers. I need some real answers here. You study Karako. He's obviously the same troll, but the changes in him are equally obvious. His eyes are deep as wells, his face grave and kind. Either he's done a lot of reading and undergone a lot of life experience since you last saw him, or else he's become the honking mouthpiece of some vast mystical wisdom type entity which offers metaphysical advice to princesses. Perhaps whatever person or process sustains the Dark Carnival? But how did Karako get that job? Crow Country. Crow Country. É um pouco difícil de falar. Crow Country. Crow Country. Deixa eu pesquisar aqui na Steam. Crow Country. O ano é 1990. Já se passaram 2 anos desde o misterioso desaparecimento de Edward Crow e o fechamento abrupto do seu parque temático, Crow Country. A gente vai entrar num parque abandonado. Meu Deus. Vai sair dia 9 de maio de 2024. Vou colocar na lista de desejos. É similar a Little Nightmares, olha só. Interessante. 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 Instigante. Muito que bene. Era exército. You wave madly at Karako as he and the Harris talk, but either he doesn't see you, or he no longer knows you, or he thinks imparting serious metaphysical advice is too solemn an occasion for waving like a maniac. Either way, he ignores you and keeps talking. Só agora que eu percebi que o chifre dele não é da cor do chifre dos trolls. É preto e branco. Ele pintou o chifre. Does a troll who paddles an ore vessel down a rushing river control her own fate? Or does the river control her? Donkey Crown Country. Oh boy. The answer is, of course, both. The river has its force, but within that, the troll can move her boat where she will. You are the Harris, and thus the fate that sweeps you along is vast and swift and powerful, but also your arms are strong and your O vessel stout. Do not despair of your own strength. Esse barulho do WhatsApp foi aqui, tá, gente? Yet, there is more. We see by mystic means that the rushing river you navigate is itself being swept along by an unimaginably vaster rushing cosmic river, and that the planet which that vast cosmic river traverses is itself being swept along an even infinitely greater supercosmic river. There are many such metaphorical cosmic meta river levels in this particular instantation of the story. Instantiation. Thus, even if you row with utmost power to change your course on the river you are navigating, the river you can see, The other meta rivers continue to sweep you on as before, without regard for any tiny adjustment you may make down at your level. Yet, do not despair. You may yet, through long and deep meditation, transcend the bounds of this small world, rising higher and higher so that you are able to see and comprehend and transcend those vast and meta-vast cosmic river levels one by one. Que é isso que eu tô lendo, gente? Não sei. And what you can see, you can learn how to navigate, using meta vessels and meta ores fashioned from meta cosmic star stuff. Yet, also remain humble. Above the creator of this world is yet another creator, and above him yet another creator greater even than him, and above her yet another creator. These vast powers move all things like pieces on a chessboard. Yet, if the chess pieces grow wise enough, they may move the movers. The powers that move in these universes upon universes are unimaginably large, and as yet you are unimaginably small, yet nonetheless for that you in your smallness and your small world are indispensable, like a key piece at the bottom of an infinitely tall Jenga tower. Knowing these things, do you wish to undertake the great work of awakening and enlightenment that will bear you into the full light of reality? It is the work of millions of mantras, thousands of sweeps, and hundreds of lives. Or, knowing these things, do you instead choose to ply your vessel in the waters of your own world, remaining the person life has made you? Remaining a key yet unknowing piece in the towering stack of universes, influencing your own destiny on your corporeal river, swept to destinations beyond your understanding in fulfillment of the larger story. Essa pessoa escreveu Yeti umas trocentas vezes. Acho que essa pessoa gosta muito da palavra Yeti. Either choice is noble, little one. Your only duty and burden is to choose the one that seems best to you. Peraí que deixa eu ver a mensagem que eu recebi. Mensagem de trabalho, mas é áudio, não posso ouvir agora não. Eita porra, veio mais um áudio grande. Vou ter que ouvir isso depois. Abominável Homem das Neves, o Yeti. Oh, meu Deus, por que eu não vi essa chegando, né? Feferi turns to you. It's clear that both courses described by the wise one speaking through Caraco hold attraction for her, and that she's on a razor's edge between them. The merest word from you will be enough to lead her in one direction or the other. Vaza aí, pô, não estou com o OBS ligado, confia, não é? Which way do you choose to lead her? Ah, pera, eu vou liderar ela? Por quê? Influence the Harris to choose the path of meditation and transcendence. Influence the Harris to choose the path of worldly action and accomplishment. I'm gonna go with the first one. Well chosen, little one. Step forward and tell your cheese-like companion to step forward too. A friend to share your transcendental journey is a blessing, and they seem a noble and loyal cheese, though perhaps a bit overexcitable. You and Feferi step forward, and Caraco's hand comes right out of the crystal ball, divides in two, and taps each of you on the forehead. At the tap, you feel a powerful fire course up your spine and through your chakras, and the roaring flames obliterate all the world. When the flames subside, a resonant silence reigns. You and Feferi are seated in full lotus position on either side of a fresh air conch, cozy in a bubble floating deep through the vast oceans of Eternia, where you can never be found by anyone until you emerge fully enlightened and with the power of gods many yugas hence. Eternal, spiritual, siblinghood, victory. Is that a good end? I don't know. Let's see. Deixa eu ver o que aconteceria se eu fosse nessa opção aqui. Well chosen, little one! Step forward and tell your marshmallow-like companion to step forward too. A helpmate to share in your worldly efforts is a blessing, and they seem a noble and loyal marshmallow, though a bit manic in the hand-waving department. Estou bebendo suco de maracujá. Por que em homenagem a Minas Gerais? You and Feferi step forward, and Karako's hands comes right out of the crystal ball, divides in two, and makes gesture of blessing over your heads. You immediately feel strength and courage coursing through you, and as the Lucis tentacle turns back into an eye and withdraws from the tube, you turn to look into Feferi's sparkling eyes, and you see that she is feeling the same intrepid energy. Yay! I think a good portion of that was glove shit, but still, he has an illy good point somewhere in there. We can't just be canoes, we have to be fish. Vi rios de moço mineiro bebendo, globalizei que mineiro ama maracujá. Oxi, eu achei que tinha algum fundo de, né, uma pesquisa detalhada de alguma coisa aí, mas pelo visto não. Tá. Peraí. Eita. É assim que nascem os estereótipos. Errado não está. Even if at the end of the day we are just little minnows, we'll be whales to someone. You start to grab her for a dance, but recalling your previous experience, eu tô com o ponteiro no peito da Feferi, deixa eu tirar. Quickly turn the gesture into an offered high five, which she slaps, breaking several bones in your hand. Era aquele que tava na parada de ônibus, decidiu entre o ônibus ou o maracujá, pegando o maracujá dele, tá as caras mordidas e ficou, caralho, maracujá. Quê? What? Eu lembro da goiaba. É disso que você tá falando? What shall we do? You ask her. What's our plan? You feel the ability to accomplish any plan fairly overflowing from you. You have to introduce her to Therese and Vriska to start off with, at least. Yes, yes! Glub, but first I need time to think. I'm so excited! I'm sure the purpose of your visit was to reveal the whale of a destiny that awaits us. But we need to consider our next move. Will you come back and visit me again soon after some tides have passed? Then we can compare notes. Yay, glib glib glib, this is going to be fun. Noble worldly partnership victory. That's the best ending. That's the best ending, I guess, for Feferi. Now I can do this and that and this. You're fading fast. A black tunnel is closing around you, and sounds are getting dim. With your next to last strength, you grab Fab's wrist to zap her back to the surface with you. You're not yet done persuading her to reform Eternia. But then you realize that you don't even know if she can breathe air. You feel it would be wrong to suffocate your new friend on your very first visit. So, with your last strength, you let go of her wrists and zap yourself back to the surface alone. You materialize superhumanly and superluminally back in the forest. You lie in the tall razor grass for a while, gasping, darkness receding from your eyes, sounds clearing in your ears. Once you feel sufficiently reoxygenated, you sit up. You have a pounding headache, but otherwise seem fine. Yet, your emotions are deeply conflicted. Yes, you can breathe. Yes, you're safe. And yes, you realize with deep satisfaction, you've made a new friend. But what about your quest to save Alternia? Feferi seems to be aware of the problems of her kingdom. Is she perhaps just waiting on the right ally? Ally? Or illy? As she might call it? You prepare to immediately zap back to finish the job. But you hesitate. What if you zap back into that bubble and merely continue to suffocate? Or what if she's already collapsed the bubble and you materialize in the water again? What if she's not there to rescue you? Or is so annoyed at your rudely abrupt departure that she decides to just leave you to your own devices? What if Lucis notices you thrashing in the water and snatches you with its eldritch tentacles for a plaything or hors d'oeuvre? Not that you can drown or suffocate or die of mastication, but can you really not? It felt like you were drowning and suffocating quite efficiently there only a few minutes ago. You hesitate some more. Even if you can't die, the torment of drowning and suffocating felt quite real. How long might such torment go on even if you didn't die? Would an eternity of suffocating or drowning be all that pleasant, even if you kept on living? What about an eternity of being chewed and passing through a giant Lucis digestive tract? Excuse me? Agora que eu percebi que o jogo tá sem música. Momento de respiração, de reflexão. A Feferi, ela tem guelras aqui, assim. Acho que você não tinha notado, mas ela tem. Ela é meio peixe. O nome dela, né? Feferi Peixes. Ela é uma Sea Dweller. Ela é do povo que vive debaixo d'água. O nosso protagonista aqui, ele não respira debaixo d'água, não. Tanto que ele teve que sair da água. You realize that you can't bring yourself to zap back to the Harris. You curse your weakness, but given a choice between death and eternal torment, you realize with belated humility that your choice would be neither, even if there's a chance you could save Alternia. You stand up sadly and begin walking back through the forest. Make a friend but fail at life. Game over. Oh my god. Isso aqui foi muito triste. Mas terminamos aqui a rota da Feferi. Temos aqui Whale of a Time. You motivated Feferi to seek the path of action and accomplishment. E The World's Your Oyster. You helped Feferi achieve meditation and transcendence. So now we have Jane cooking by the book. Befriend Jane. That's what we're going to do. Pois é, né? Um pulmãozão. Paraense no inverno, só que isso? It's a beautiful moonlit night on Alternia. The sky is clear, a cool breeze is blowing, and even the unbearable screeching of the steel-throated bat crickets sound a little sweeter than usual. And yet, a moment of panic hangs in the air. Dave, are you okay? Dave, are you okay? Fala, mano Matias! Arigato pelo abraço. Seja bem-vindo, tudo bom?
Hey! Oh God! What has she done? Dave?
Please tell me that's just grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Kirk, stop being so melodramatic. It wasn't even me who did it. Okay, fine. It was my fault. I admit it. But I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, Kirkit. It's no biggie. I mean, this is obviously the shittiest situation I could possibly be in right now. And like my lawyers will be in touch, don't even think that they want. But also, it is literally fucking grub sauce, so like chill for 2 seconds, okay? Oh, thank God. Like, I know the idea of me having to swap out my soiled ketchup-encrusted pants is getting you all hot and bothered under that sweater, but damn. This is a picnic, dude. There are children present. Tuturu. Bom. And just like that, everything's alright. You have single-handedly revolutionized art of picnicking on Alternia. You've got a huge checkered blanket, a car-sized wicker hamper, an unholy quantity of foods in Tupperware containers, a lively crowd of your best and most recently acquired friends. Everything one could possibly need. Shit's quaint as all fuck out here. Cadê o meu cria de gêmeos? Ah, ele já apareceu na última live. Acho que pode ser que ele apareça agora, mas eu não sei. So, how many tentacles would you say he has? She has, roughly? Meu Deus, Matheus.
Let me see.
It's okay. Take your time. Ah, elas estão juntas! My interest is, purely scientific. Yes, precisely. Thank you, Kanaya. This is part of my studies in the field of cryptozoology. It's hardly an exact science, but you can help us make it exacter. Is that a word? Well, that's the problem. I really don't think there's a definite answer. She just has so many. Fascinating. Everyone seems to be having a really great time. You're a pretty good picnic host. If you do say so yourself, you let yourself lie back on the blanket and relax.
Nepeta, could you pass me one of those beautiful green pies, please? Oh, sure. Let me just...
It's okay. I got this.
Dude.
Aí, ó, seu cria. Que você tanto queria ver. Pera aí, gente. Deixa eu resolver um negócio aqui do Discord. Obrigado pelo lurk, Blaze. Seja bem-vindo e obrigada.
Step up, LMAO. She didn't ask for your help.
Everyone's getting along so well. Well, I didn't ask for your opinion on whether the mid-blood human female wanted my help or not.
Oh my god, did you seriously just call her that? What is wrong with you? Guys, humans don't even have different blood colors, you useless do. Simply enjoying one another's company. Alright, that does it. I've had enough of this wishy-washy long-of-a-meal nonsense. And I've had enough of you. Oh, thanks, Nepeta. No problem. Eat it and die. Well, why don't you make me? It would be my pleasure. Wait, what's going on over there? Oh no, dear God, no, not now. This is a disaster. You've got to find some way to stop this before everything you've worked for collapses under the weight of pointless, shitty boy drama. You don't have a moment to lose. Quando entra esses dois aí na cena, já... Ai, meu Deus, não! O pior de todos apareceu. Puta que pariu. Eu achando que não tinha como piorar. Piorou. What's better than this? Guys being allies. Oh, hi there, Gamzee. Don't mind you. You're just trying to stop a picnic emergency. Hey, hold on, sister. Let's not be hasty. Right now, we're witnessing the birth of the greatest and, dare I say, most righteous miracle of them all. Gender motherfucking equality. And just like that, everything breaks apart. You wake up alone. It's a cold, dark night on Eternia. The sky is overcast, and a harsh wind is blowing, and the only other sound to be heard is your own breathing. Panicked, shaky, you curl up a little tighter in your puddle of blankets in the corner. You try and think back to the wonderful dream you were having, but now it all seems ruined. You were only trying to take a short rest from fomenting revolutionary sentiment among your peers and fixing all their problems, which, as it turns out, is a full-time job. You just wanted to indulge your imagination for a while and skip to the part where everyone's happy already. Que isso, Rika? There's nothing wrong with that, right? It all seemed so real, so full of potential. Like you could get there in an instant if only you tried a little harder. But now it hits you like a cold, wet circus pie filled with cement. Your dream of hope was nothing more than that, with no basis in reality or accurate characterization. Some things are simply too good to be true, and your subconscious clearly knew that all along. It hurts, and you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just get really, really angry about it. You've made some wonderful friends over the last few weeks, months. It's been such a hectic whirlwind of non-stop amicability. You're not even sure how long you've been going. You've achieved so much on your quest. You know that for a fact. Desenvolveu saxofone pelo nariz. O quê? But now, looking around this empty room, filled with the ghosts of memories from a lifetime ago, you can't help but feel despondent. Maybe there are some things you won't even be able to fix. Fiz barulho de sax. Meu Deus. Coisas que eu nem sabia que eu conseguia fazer. Man, this blows. For some reason, your thoughts turned to John. He was conspicuously absent from your dream. It feels like you haven't seen him for ages. You miss him. Without really thinking about it, you pick yourself up. You've had enough of this horrible planet for now. Your friends... Tana. Your friends here will be alright without you for a while. You tell yourself that a few times just to make sure you believe it. And then... Zap! You materialize in a pleasantly familiar suburban neighborhood, standing in front of a pleasantly familiar house. It must be late fall by now. There are barely any leaves left on the trees, and there's a chill in the air. But your heart fills with warmth at the prospect of hanging out with your old friend John again. While your newer friends have all been fun to spend time with in their own ways, you can't help but feel a special kind of fondness for John. It's not like you play favorites with your chums or anything, but maybe the fact that he was the first friend you met on your journey sets him apart from the others. It's nice to be back on Earth too. You missed being able to go out in the sunshine. Your eyes wander a little, taking in the trees, the grass, the houses, before settling on the mailbox in the yard. A worrying thought occurs to you. Maybe, in getting so caught up with meeting so many new people, John has forgotten all about you. Surely your friendship wouldn't have diminished so quickly. But were you really all that close to begin with? You still feel bad about having thrown his birthday present in the sewer all that time ago. That was just such a shitty thing to do, in more ways than one. You were a really bad friend to John, before you were friends to John. You're suddenly overcome with the urge to make it up to him. Instead of making a new friend today, why not being a better friend to one you already have? Taking a peek at the mailbox, there seems to be something inside. Pilfer the post, reconsider. Yeah, eu já volto, gente. Eu vou lá embaixo pegar minha janta e daí eu volto pra live daqui a pouquinho, tá? Se comportem, já que eu volto.
Peraí, teve uma doação enquanto eu tava fora, é isso mesmo? Peraí, Matheus, que história é essa? Que isso? Ih, lá ele. Peraí, o que aconteceu? A DM saiu hora do ataque. Quando será uma inteira box, você tem uma meia box. Que? Quibe com batata? Não. Tem enrolado de salsicha esse aqui? Enroladinho de presunto e queijo, eu acho. Fala de Star, tudo bom? Como vai? É o Diego? É o Diego, né? Gostoso. Tem linguiça também. É o Dé Diego. Obrigado pela doação, Matheus. Peraí. Sumiu mesmo. Tá tudo bem? Como é que você tá? Nossa, Matheus, essa foi ótima. Aconteceu muita coisa? Muita coisa boa? Antes fosse. Entendi. A comida tá quente. Deixa eu esperar ela esfriar. For the post or reconsider? Appeal for the post. Quem manda querer viver no modo hard? Pra conquistar recompensas mais altas, né? A gente vive no modo hard. Well, that's an excellent idea. John will be so happy that the mail came with no mishap. Ultra hard, ou seja, ultra recompensa depois. Você não está vendo a recompensa ainda. Depois ela vai se apresentar. John will be so happy that the mail came with no mishap and so grateful that you, his trusted Paul, were able to make it happen. Perhaps you could even pretend it's an apology gift you got him? Whoa, you've gotten so good at being a friend by now, it's not even real. There's basically no way this plan can backfire. You reach a hand inside the mailbox to grab the package and then everything goes dark. Backfired. Oh my. Tá, isso foi rápido. Não apareceu nem a Jane. Isso foi muito rápido.
reconsider. On second thought. Ah, eu sei por que ele morreu. Ele provavelmente tá na casa da Jane, não do John. A Jane vivia sendo ameaçada porque ela é herdeira da Crocker. Então, tinha uma armadilha na caixa de correio dela que ia explodir se ela pegasse a encomenda do correio. Eu lembro disso na história de Homestuck. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Like, holy shit, that's bad. You take a moment to slap yourself around the face for a few minutes, just to rub it in. How could you be so stupid? The kind of depravity that leads one to desecrate the sanctity of a friend's mailbox is what got you into this mess in the first place. Pois é, o filme, né? É verdade. É verdade. Talvez seja uma referência, né? Looks like the mailman forgot to put up the... You know the thing. The flappy winged doodad. The right red arm that dilly on the side of the mailbox. You are quite certain that this thing is supposed to be up when there's mail to be retrieved. Even an idiot could tell you that much, and you are a first-rate idiot. Gente, vocês viram a série do Fallout? Ela tá muito boa. Eu assisti tudo uma tacada só, 2 dias. Tá muito, muito boa. Eu fui atrás de ver a lore do jogo, que eu nunca tinha visto nada de Fallout na minha vida. E eu amei. You carefully raise the little red flag. Immediately, out of the corner of your eye, you spy movement in an upstairs window. It must be John scoping out the mail again. Quick as a flash, you zap yourself out of sight and behind a nearby bush. A white cat is hanging out back here. Oh no. Os jogos são bons, menos o 76, né? Sério? Eu vi um pouco sobre os jogos, eu vi mais sobre a lore dos Vaults. E é por aí, eu vi mais resumido os jogos, principalmente os antigos. O New Vegas que todo mundo gosta, né? O 4 parece ser bom. Tem na GOG? Na Prime? Acho que eu peguei então, sem ver. It hisses at you, but you let a wave of crackling retcon energy dance across your palms, and the kitty vanishes. It literally just straight up disappears. That's... okay, fine, whatever. It is a truth universally acknowledged that cats can do whatever the hell they want. Except for taking this hiding spot, that is, which you have now commandeered in the name of friendship. Oh, this is a much better plan to surprise John. You can't believe you didn't think of it before. You know he loves pranks. And what better prank than to be ambushed by a dear friend? You hope you're still his dear friend. Oh god, you're getting nervous again. You hear the front door open. Shoot, here he comes. Oh my. Wait, this isn't John. Oh goodness, no. Why, it appears to be some kind of famous detective type individual. Or at least, someone in a famous detective disguise. But what's more, you get the strange impression that the person underneath the disguise isn't John either. Whoever it is, they make a beeline for the mailbox. Oh shit. Maybe we're watching another mailbox robbery in action. That would explain the need for a disguise, you guess. They reach out their hand. All of a sudden, several things race through your mind unbidden. Smell of burning, a flash of light, pain. Without thinking, you spring into action. Uff! Cadê o barulho do Roblox? Eu tenho ele aqui? Acho que eu não tenho. Cadê? Esse é um dos barulhos que todo mundo baixa. Eu não coloquei ele aqui? Acho que não. Eu não coloquei ele aqui não. Isso foi pra mim mesmo. You grab the interloper and zap inside the house. You both materialize in midair and collapse in a heap on the floor. Outside, you hear the telltale sound of an exploding mailbox because for some reason you know what does sound like. What? Phew, that was a close one. Oh lordy, that's smarts. What on earth just happened? Your companion sits up in a bit of a daze. It looks like the disguise got knocked off in all the kerfuffle. Kerfuffle, uma palavra engraçada de falar. Kerfuffle. Your hunch was right on the money. This is definitely not John Egbert. She does look oddly familiar though. You take a look out of the window, down into the yard below. Yep, it's just like your ears told you. Where once there was a mailbox, there's now a smoldering wooden stump, surrounded by debris. It's a sight to bring a tear to any mailman's eye, fake or otherwise. You turn back around to find the stranger standing over you, looking thoroughly disgruntled. Vamos falar aqui o café rápido. Kerfuffle. She's pointing a large red spoon directly at your chest. It doesn't really come off as all that threatening, you have to be honest. Although she could probably do at least some form of injury with it. The injury likely wouldn't be all that serious, but you try to take it seriously anyway. Não, tudo bem, dia que você tá em casa. Just to be polite. Now hold on just one moment, Buster. Who are you? What are you doing in my bedroom? And what in the blue blazes is going on? Come on, spit it out. Oh no, you hate being put on the spot. And the first question was such a tough one too. Who are you? It's something I don't have a definite answer to. Even after all this time. Gosh, she does seem awfully confident with that spoon. You begin to entertain the thought that this girl might simply decide to beat you to death with it. Okay, you see, Mateus, verdade. You're finding it hard to think amid all the confusion. Didn't she say that this is her bedroom? You're dead certain that this was John's house. It is John's house. It even has the tire swing and everything. And this girl, Who even is she? Jones never mentioned having a sister or anything before, but looking around the room, it's obvious that she lives here. And there is no trace of any of John's things. Did he move his house without telling you? That thought makes you so impossibly sad. Well, if you won't talk, I suppose I'll have to suss out the truth myself. She looks at you very carefully for a moment, before glancing over at one of the posters on the wall. It's a black and white picture of what looks like a daring group of detectives. They're drawn in a fairly minimal style, with round, ovoid heads. Immediately, her face lights up in recognition. Oh, I see. Oh, mum's the word. She taps the side of her nose knowingly and winks, and you realize that she's trying to let you know that she knows something that you supposedly both know. But all you really know is that you have no idea what it is. Oh, you're very good. Pretending not to know that which you know that I know that we both know. No, you're really telling her you haven't got the foggiest clue what she's talking about. Knowing stuff? How could anyone possibly accuse you of such a thing? Oh, it's alright. I won't tell anyone. Keep incognito is one of the utmost importance for problem sleuths like us. Always a pleasure to meet a fellow fan. She seems to be under the impression that you're some sort of cosplayer. Either that, or an undercover agent of some sort. Oh, what the hell, you might as well roll with it. This will be easier than pretending to be a postal worker at any rate. Hold on a moment. I've got just a thing for a fellow gentle person of taste. She puts the spoon away for a moment, which is a relief, then whips another copy of the poster and a pen out of nowhere and signs it. You never met or heard of this girl before, and she's just straight up giving you her autograph. You take a look at the signature. The name reads Jane Crocker. Huh. I guess this girl's name is Jen, then. Now that we've got that out of the way. Nice thought. Nice though it is to make your acquaintance, that doesn't explain what you're doing in my house. Or, come to think of it, how we even got here. But, well, it's all very simple, actually. Just a boring, everyday example of an innocent bystander stepping in to save an unwitting teen from a parcel bomb with their zappy hell treasure powers. Nothing weird at all. You zap around the room a bit by way of demonstration, ending up back where you started. Transportalization technology. I knew various competitors of ours had been developing something like that for a while, but I had no idea they were already doing field tests. I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. But a parcel bomb, you say? You gesture out of the window at the sad, obliterated remains of the mailbox. There was nothing anyone could do to save it or its contents. Oh shoot, Jane wasn't expecting any extremely important deliveries, was she? Potentially in the form of significant birthday gifts or a copy of a mysterious computer game? You mean this burb alpha? I'm not surprised you've heard about it. That isn't due for another week though. Oh well, that's a relief then. No harm done. I wouldn't go quite that far. Alpha notwithstanding, the fact remains that someone tried to blow me up. Okay, so some harm done. Gee, the nerve of some people. You cannot fathom who could possibly want to do such a thing, and especially to someone as harmless and personable as Jane here. Come on, one doesn't like to state the obvious, but if I had to guess, it's probably related to my being in line to inherit one of the largest corporations on the planet. Crocker Corp has its enemies, there's no question about that. Eu vou comer mais um pouquinho agora. Tá gostoso. Ah, meu Deus. Oh, of course. That's why her surname was so familiar. Jane is the new face of the Betty Crocker Company. We don't know what you expected. Considering what's happened on your journey so far, you should have seen this sort of thing coming. Speaking of which, you wonder aloud if anything like this has ever happened before? The only thing that could make this any more surprising is if Jane had been sent similarly life-threatening cargo on any previous occasion. Oh yes! Why, we got mailed something similar just last week, in fact. You try not to think too hard about the fact that Jane apparently fell for the exact same trick 2 weeks in a row. Father was out in the yard, about to make his car out back for a soak, when the blast mailbox went up in smoke. It was quite a shock. Ever since then, he's been a bit antsy about me checking the mail myself, but today it arrived while he was out. Good thing, too. He would have thrown a fit if he'd known. I'm barely allowed out of the house as it is. I'm sure he means well, but it can't but it can come off as a bit overprotective sometimes. It's plumb ridiculous. A grown lass full of vim and vigor can take perfectly good care of herself. You don't want to pass hasty judgment on someone's familial situation, but it sounds like Jane's father is just trying to keep her safe. It can't be easy constantly deflecting death threats away from someone determined to walk right into them. Where's her sense of self-preservation? I suppose it might seem strange to the uninitiated, but you sort of learn to accept it after a while. I've been dodging death ever since I can remember. People seem really determined to do me in. I simply can't explain it. Jesus, wow. That must be pretty rough going. God, that sounds awful actually. Being the imminent ruler of an empire must come off a fair number of people who want you gone. Thinking back to your encounter with the fairy, you suppose that you were recently part of such an attempt yourself, in a manner of speaking. You decline to mention this to Jane, and being reminded of your time on Alternium causes you to lapse into an uncomfortable silence. Jane looks around a little awkwardly before breaking it. So, not that I'm ungrateful for the fact that you appear to have rescued me from certain peril, but... Oh, right, of course. You're intruding in a complete stranger's home. You'd almost forgotten that this is the first time you and Jane have ever met. Your heart sinks as you consider that between the vastness of the universe and the determination of those attempting to murder her, this might be the last time you ever meet as well. Jane offers to show you out. On the way downstairs, you politely ask her how long it's been since her family moved here. Does she know if anyone called John used to live in this house? She gives you a strange look before gesturing to a... Oh god, is that a corpse by the fireplace? You take a moment to process the fact that Jane has a stuffed human person mounted on a plinth in her living room. She says it's her pop-up, which you guess means grandfather. It's kind of hard to parse some of the vocabulary Jane uses sometimes. Anyway, the guy's name was John, and you can't help but see a resemblance to your good friend Egbert. You've encountered enough coincidences by now to know that this must be him somehow. You must have traveled forwards in time by accident or some such. This is the only possible... Fala, Yuri, tudo bom? Como vai você? Novidades? This is the only possible explanation. You try very hard not to have a whole mental breakdown about your apparently long-dead friend. Obrigada pela água. But sadly, not hard enough. However, at the sight of your various expressions of horror, shock, and confusion, Jane perks up considerably. Did you know my dear old Pop-Up? You should have said something. He was a popular fellow, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of the friends from his performing heydays came to visit. Well, that's right, Jane. Keep talking about him and your friendship in the past tense. This is totally helping you feel better. Huh. By which you mean to say, yes, Jane, you're absolutely right. Tem bracinho aqui do lado agora que eu vi.
You are an old entertaining friend of her pop-ups, who just so happened to be visiting the area in the middle of the circus touring session? You try not to be too insulted when Jane eats the lie up without a moment's hesitation. Well, if one of old pop-up Crocker's paws is here, I suppose I can't just turn you out on the street like some nobody. And Papa would never forgive me for giving a family friend the cold shoulder. You simply must stay a while longer. I insist. You cannot help but agree enthusiastically. And here you were thinking this volume was over before it really got started. Gee, this makes a nice change. You've grown accustomed to putting in a lot of hard work to score some hangout time with various people on your journey. But all it took to convince Jane was a pre-established connection with her apparently very wealthy relatives. It just goes to show you stuff. Croissant! Eu nem falei nada de croissant! Do nada, Rica! I'm afraid I haven't fulfilled my duties as host very well so far, but I'm determined to change that starting now. But, what to do? You've been playing the game of friendship long enough by now to sense an important decision approaching. You take a quick inventory of Jane's important character details, you mean interests and personality traits. Tô entendendo nada, mané. Ah, mas então você tá em casa. She seems to have a passion for the lost art of sleuthing and famous detectives of years past. Her imminent inheritance of a baking conglomerate and expert spoon-wielding likely indicate that she knows her way around a cake or two as well. Why don't the two of you practice some self-care or solve a mystery? Both are good. I'm going to eat. Yeah. You know what? All this heavy stuff has really been getting to you recently. Christ, you left Alternia to get away from the hell murdery nonsense. But if anything, it feels just as stressful back here on Earth with Jane. The adrenaline rush from the impromptu rescue is beginning to wear off, and your legs start to go all wobbly. You slam down against the wall, exhausted. Man, this really took a lot out of you. Oh gracious, are you alright? Yeah. You just need a minute. Ugh, God. This is so weird and embarrassing. How come it's only once you were out of the bad situation that you stopped being able to cope with it? You try to pull yourself together, but then your stomach grows like an aggressive hungry cat. Come to think of it, you haven't eaten anything in you don't even know how long.
Jane gives you a sympathetic, almost grandmotherly look. It sounds like someone's hungry. You know, I was planning on baking something after taking care of the mail. Although I guess that it took care of itself in the end. So, since plan A seems to have gone up in a pillar of smoke, let's move swiftly on to plan B. Fancy helping me whip a cake into submission? Whip. We can call it a thank you for saving my bacon back there. Gosh, that sounds like a wonderful idea. You feel like you could eat a horse. Falou a palavra, hein?
Cavalo.
Or even better, a horse made out of cake. You can't remember the last time you had cake, in fact. Oh. Now, if that isn't just about the saddest thing I've ever heard. Live, laugh, bake. A geladeira tem um bigode. Ai, meu Deus. Essa é a melhor coisa que eu vi hoje. Padre Marcelo Horst. Puta que pariu. Marcelo Cavalo. Jane sets you up with an apron and starts pulling ingredients and utensils out of various cupboards and drawers. Seeing the various colorful bags and boxes all lined up on the kitchen counters fills you with excitement. The idea of collaborating with Jane to make something delicious gets your heart racing. Surely there could be no better path to friendship than this. Once she seems sure that she's got everything you need, Jane fiddles with the oven for a few seconds. Just need to set the oven to preheat. Okay, there we go. Now let's get cracking, shall we? You look around expectantly, hoping to see a recipe book or similar amid the collection of baking equipment. Oh no, we don't need one. My Junior Batter Master Ball Buster Stirring Solution 50,000 will do the trick just fine. A passionate burning fire seems to ignite in Jane's eyes. As she brandishes her trusty red spoon. With a well-practiced motion, she adjusts a series of buttons and dials on the side. And a vaguely feminine robot voice begins to speak out of it. Triple chocolate layer cake, medium rare, begin regime. Jane nods to herself and presses another button. The voice begins listing off a series of ingredients and measurements. You guess this spoon must have a lot more tricks up its sleeve than you originally gave it credit for. Technology really is amazing. You begin to reach for the bag of flour, but with lightning speed, Jane leans over and grabs it herself. She doesn't even seem to notice that she had to bat your hand out of the way. Oh well, that's alright. Jane seems to know what she's doing, and you'd hate to spoil her fun. In the blink of an eye, she has the flour measured out and reaches for the butter. Appraised solidified bovine extract, you will comply. Jane continues her work in a thorough and efficient manner, and the spoon continues reading out instructions in a calm, steady voice. It's somewhat soothing, even if the choice of vocabulary is a bit strange. It certainly seems to be relaxing Jane. Her face was a picture of intense concentration, but now her eyes appear dim and distant. She could almost be asleep. You're just coming to terms with the idea that baking with Jane is a spectator sport, rather than a team game, when a sudden noise snaps her out of the trance. Oh! Her hand goes to her apron pocket, and she fishes out her phone. Something on the screen makes her face light up with gentle excitement. You think you catch the sight of something green, but she doesn't give you a good look at it. I have to, take care of this? Whatever it is, it seems to have got Jane into a bit of a teasy all of a sudden. She thrusts the spoon in your direction. Here! Just follow the instructions. You can't go wrong. This is all happening so fast. Being entrusted with Jane's precious spoon, and so early in your friendship, this must be a very great honor. She obviously believes in you a great deal. You try to assure Jane that you won't let her down, but she's already too engrossed in her phone to acknowledge it. You sigh to yourself knowingly. For all her antiquated phraseology and old-timey aesthetic, Jane is still a teen at heart. Add ingredients to vessel, commence liquidation, obey. Oh shit. You were so caught up being judgmental of a young person that you completely lost track of what you were doing, which was dissolve desiccated cocoa in boiling water, submit to your labor. Hey, hang on just a moment. You just barely managed to remember what the previous instruction was before the spoon moved on to the next step already. Oh god, what were the other ingredients you needed to add? You try to guess, but there are too many things on the counter, and you don't know what half of them even are. You spare a glance at Jane, hoping against hope that she's noticed your plight, but she's far too distracted to help you right now. You just have to work it out by yourself. She's counting on you. Think, damn it, think! Fold cocoa paste into mixture. Make haste. The end is nigh. Eggs! You don't remember doing anything with eggs, but the spoon definitely called for some while ago. In a blind panic, you grab one and toss it into the bowl. Only after you've stirred it into the mixture, you do remember that it's generally best to remove the shell first. Omni reference? Ah, entendi. Pour cream into a small saucepan and heat over a low flame for a few minutes, ensuring that it does not boil or simmer. Once the cream is hot, remove the saucepan from the heat. Cease reproduction. The calm robot voice isn't soothing to you, not anymore. Its dulcet tones have become your tormentor. It wouldn't be so bad if it would slow down for a moment. Is there a speed setting on this spoon? If you just had more time to think. Are you sure you would like to start over? Wrong button. You can't go back, not now. You cancel the prompt and grit your teeth in grim determination. You can fix this. You have to fix this. It's like Jane said all those minutes ago when she sent you on this quest. You can't go wrong. It's at this moment that your eyes land on the bag of sugar. The noticeably unopened bag of sugar. It's just sitting there, smirking at you, with a look of unbearable smugness to the colorful lettering on its face. Oh, me? What could you possibly need me in a cake for? Oh, meu Deus. You tear the bag open and dump the entire contents into the mixing bowl with an ice-cold fury. Then you toss its gutted, lifeless husk into the garbage where it belongs. Revenge has never been sweeter. Oh lordy, sorry to leave you in the lurch for so long. I had to deal with a friend in his daily moment of personal crisis. Although, that's not really saying much. Quite frankly, most of his life seems to be one long personal crisis. And I suppose I'm hardly in any position to complain. I do so like his company at the end of the day. So anyway, the cake. How have you been managing? You don't look up at Jane when she comes back over to you a few minutes later, seemingly oblivious to the devastation you've wrought on this poor kitchen. You stare down into the thick, lumpy batter sitting in the bowl in front of you, and in that stodgy, curdled mass you cannot help but see yourself. A complete and utter failure. Is everything alright? You want to tell her, to explain that no, Jane, everything is not alright. It's all gone to shit. But you can't look anywhere except down. You can feel the bottom falling out of this friendship opportunity like that of a poorly supported Victoria sponge. Once Jane gets a good look at this batter, it's game over, you just know it. As she peeks over your shoulder at your handiwork, you brace yourself for the dreadful moment you've felt so many times before, across countless alternate selves and timelines. You watch for the telltale signs of a person deciding that whatever pathetic and somehow yet unspecified creature you are, they don't want you in their life. But strangely enough, the moment never comes. Instead, Jane puts a hand lightly on your shoulder and gives you a gentle smile full of teeth. There. No need to pull a face like that. So, yes, this ended up being a little bit of a misadventure, but it's not the end of the world. But Jane was counting on you, and you let her down. You had something that needed to be fixed, and you couldn't manage it. As on so many other occasions during your journey, you only made things worse. You tried to convince Jane of your guilt in this matter, but she simply shakes her head. Oh, you did nothing of the sort. You tried to make the best out of a bad and confusing ordeal, and nobody can blame you for that. Even if your best is admittedly a little suboptimal. But sometimes, when things go wrong, it's not a simple case of being able to fix it by soldiering on blindly in the face of adversity. Sometimes, the only way to set things right is to cut your losses and start over from the beginning. And that's not really the same as giving up. You try with all your might to swallow this good advice Jane is serving you, but the look on your face must not be all that convincing. Jane sighs. Look, I'm sorry for abandoning you in an unfamiliar situation. It wasn't very responsible or leaderly, and it's certainly not becoming of a future president, corporate or otherwise. You suppose that's true. You guess you can accept that this mess was a group effort, even in failure. It's important to acknowledge the power of teamwork. All the same, you hand Jane's rosy red spoon back to her. You are not worthy of its solemn mantle. Besides, some of the stuff that the robot voice said was beginning to seriously freak you out. Honestly, it meant a lot to me that you were willing to indulge my little hobby for a while. It may be the career path that I've been following my entire life, but you'd be surprised how little I get to talk about it with anyone I'm close to. Anyway, wasn't the whole point that we were getting you something to eat as thanks for saving my life? Oh yeah, you guess you did do that. Good job, you. Your chest puffs up instinctively, a little with pride, but the motion causes your still empty stomach to make its presence felt again with a loud gurgle. Speaking of which, we still need to take care of that. Letting a friend go hungry is completely unacceptable. Será que eu tenho esse áudio? Deixa eu ver. Ah, eu não tenho. Parece que não. Eu só tenho... É. So, how does giving it another try sound? Here is an idea. If you pick the recipe, I'll take care of the rest. I promise that I won't get distracted this time, alright? Yeah, that sounds nice. Especially the part where Jane called you a friend. That was the nicest part of all. Cutting our losses. Ah, que bonitinho. Eu gostei da cara dela, ficou muito fofa, muito meiga. Ó, fizemos aqui... Ué, tem mais coisa? Here, you can look up the recipe using this. I'd lend my phone to you, but... Well, you know how it is with privacy, hoo-hoo. Jane hands you what appears to be some sort of computerized tiara, stylishly cast in crocker red plastic. You guess you just put it on? That's not too complicated. You've seen more peculiar user interfaces in your various travels across time and space, that's for sure. The device fits snugly on top of your head, despite your apparent lack of ears. You feel the unreal Harris Thoughtwave tiara top begin to mesh psychically with your own brain, as you are mentally hooked up with the limitless potential of the internet. Oh não! Quantas fotos de gato! Oh não! Agora o Matheus vai ter um ataque do coração. Né, Matheus? Every facet of human knowledge is at your cognitive fingertips. Your mind is awash with 100,000 pictures of cats in silly poses. Wow. Jane is ready and waiting for your instructions. All you have to do is reach out. So you do. You begin to comb the web for something tasty, and you will surrender yourself, and you will cease reproduction, and you will comply, and you will comply, and you will comply. Wait, what? Obey. All at once, something hits the inside of your skull and begins to ricochet around your synapses and neurons, seeming to fill every corner and crevice of your brain with a deafening wave of silent noise.
A single instruction, uttered with an incalculable force, impossible to ignore. Obey. Your mind, so susceptible to outside influence, is no match for it. You feel a million sharp pains as a million neural pathways are rearranged to form sharp angles and ordered lines and circuits. And in a blinding flash of light, her design overwhelms every part of me and consumes every atom of me, and then retransmits and amplifies the whole in concert with her will. And I cannot know any different, because this is all that I am, and it is so much more than I was. And I see her worthless protege's face twist in a look of horror at the sight of my transformation. But I do not spare her a second glance as I look skywards. I am free of such concerns now, and in the eye of the mind that now belongs to her, I see the place I need to go, and I reach out with the power I stole, and I step forward into it. And in her throne room, I knew beneath her smile, as she sets a course for everywhere, there are problems in this universe that require our attention. And I, her new weapon, smile too. We're going to fix everything. Oh my. Obey, 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 obey. É, rapaz, aí a gente pegou uma das piores rotas possíveis. Meu Deus. Vamos ver o que mais que a gente pode fazer aqui. Solve a mystery. A rota. Recalculando rota. Meu nariz tá começando a ficar entupidinho. De tanto falar. Isso acontece. Deixa eu beber uma aguinha. Não, o nariz ele faz isso mesmo quando eu tô falando demais em live. It's been bothering you for a while, but for someone who claims to follow in the footsteps of the very gutsiest of gumshoes, Jane seems pretty unmotivated to find out who's been trying to murder her all these years. Perhaps you should use the means at your disposal to finally put this mystery to rest once and for all. You suggest that to Jane, that maybe you should try to ascertain who the parcel was sent by. By whom was the parcel sent? What? Grammar, silly. It's very important. Oh, of course. You suppose you agree with that. After all, this is a text-based medium, and shoddy craftsmanship can only ever obscure information. Proper adherence to linguistic conventions is of the utmost importance, ensuring the conveyance of salient details in a timely and comprehensible manner.
But damn it, Jane, now isn't the time. You've got a case to solve. Yes, alright. But what exactly are you proposing that we do? There's very little evidence that we could feasibly collect. The two of you look forlornly out of the window again, down to where the mailbox should be. Jane is right. That avenue of investigation went up in smoke a few minutes ago. The investigation has barely gotten started, and the trail has already gone cold in a blazing ball of fire. I'd suggest asking at the mail office or similar, but I don't suppose they'd know anything detailed about the package's origins. It's not like regular mail workers have access to that kind of information. Quando vai ficar inteiro o box? Ah, não. Oh, porra, Matheus. To make matters worse. Agora que eu vi o bonequinho aqui na pose, aqui, ó. Nossa, tem muitos bonequinhos. To make matters worse, the mail is one of the few public services Cracker Corp doesn't partially own, so I wouldn't be able to pull any strings. I don't suppose there was anyone watching at the time the bomb was placed either. You have to admit, the possibility seems somewhat remote, but that gives you an idea. If there aren't any witnesses to hand, why not make some yourselves? Já que são meio... Puta que pariu. Aí você transcendeu. What? Bribe someone to falsify testimony or similar? That's certainly a novel way of going about. A novel way. Jane seems to be given in a lot more thought than you would have expected, but in any case, that wasn't at all what you wanted. You explained to Jane that far from merely being able to transportalize between any two physical locations, you also possess the ability to time travel efficate to any point in the past or future. Not to be rude, considering that you did just save my life and everything, but that does sound more than a little far-fetched. Jane seems pretty skeptical about this, but you honestly can't be bothered to work through all of her personal misgivings about belief and the feasibility of time travel right now. You've been through this with more than a dozen people already. You decide to take a more proactive approach. Seeing is believing, after all. You grab her wrist and zap back in time. Jane, meet past Jane. Jane, meet future Jane. You trust that this will suffice as evidence. I don't... Alright, moving on. You purify next to the bush that you hid behind earlier and take refuge in it once again. A conveniently abandoned wristwatch on the ground nearby indicates that you have traveled an hour into the past. No sign of the white cat yet. The mailbox is there in all its beautiful unexploded majesty, but stands empty as of right now. This is perfect. All you have to do now is wait for the truth to come to you. See, Jane? Isn't this exciting? Jane? 911, what's your emergency? Please note that misplaced apostrophes on shop signs do not constitute an emergency. Lalonde, help! I'm stuck in the past. LMAO, yes. What it tipped you off? Was it the fact that nobody else talks like it's the 1920s? What? No. I mean this entirely literally. I am quite literally stuck in the past, in a temporal sense. Oh my god. Wait, really? Who told you that? Was it TT? I bet it was TT. Yoinking my thunder, GDI. Strider. No. You're not listening to me. I have been transported back in time by a mysterious entity who recently saved my life from yet another ridiculous assassination attempt. Oh. Ok. Que isso? Cadê o String Elements pra falar o que aconteceu? Obrigada pela doação, Shun. Muito obrigada. Que isso, hein? O pessoal tá generoso hoje. Por que o bot não falou nada? Ele tá... Ele tá doido? Estranho. Aqui fui amassado. O que será que aconteceu? Era pra estar funcionando. Tinha alguma mensagem pra ler? Deixa eu ver. String Elements. Deixa eu ver minha dashboard. Mas muito obrigada aí pelos mangos. Ah, meu Deus. O Matheus tinha pago. Ele tinha escrito aqui: pagando minha última mensalidade pra pegar meu diploma. E agora o Shun pagou e falou aqui: é o que eu sempre quis, é o que eu sempre quis. Dizer por voz e chat na live é o que eu sempre quis. Obrigada, Shun. Eu queria que o bot tivesse lido isso. Deixa eu ver. O do Matheus. Ah, não tá indo. Deixa eu pegar aqui. Será? Peraí, eu vou consertar isso aí, gente. Tá. Agora eu acho que vai, hein? Deixa eu ver aqui. Cadê? Eu li, só que eu não li em voz alta. Obrigada. É que eu achei estranho eu mesma falar isso, entendeu? Será que não tá funcionando? Peraí, deixa eu testar. Eu acho que não tá funcionando, gente. Não entendi, mas não tá funcionando, não.
Acho que o String Elements tá... caiu. Tô doida. Que estranho. Tá, eu achei uma coisa aqui. Deixa eu ver. Estranho. Deixa eu ver se agora vai. Que? Live Pix. Ué, peraí, eu tô tentando... Ai, peraí. Obrigada de novo, mas peraí. Eu tô tentando resolver o String Elements. Ah, não, pera. Putz, grila, não tá nada funcionando? Como é que faz? Não? Ah, nossa. Não entendi. Não entendi. Vamos lá, o Live Pix. O Live Pix vai dar pra fazer, não é possível. Mas ele pediu com a...
Vitor Chu mandou R$5. Minhas amigas são MTO talentosas e têm vergonha de admitir, mas estou aqui para admitir por elas 3-3.
3-3. Pronto. Pronto. Eu resolvi o do Live... Eu não resolvi o do Live Pix, mas pelo menos eu consegui colocar. Obrigada, Shun. Obrigada. Caraca, por que será que isso aconteceu? Que coisa, rapaz. Agora o String Elements não tocou. Eu acho que eu fiz alguma coisa quando eu mudei pros alertas da Twitch. Eu não entendi. Bom. Não, eu consegui fazer a mensagem. Não, não me põe pra imitar, não, porque, nossa senhora. Não sei imitar, não. Pedi a devolução com juros, que isso? Mas obrigada, Shun. Caraca, velho. Thanks. Eu vou continuar lendo aqui. A minha voz já tá indo de comes e bebes. Vou só terminar essa rota aqui, daí eu termino por hoje a live. Damn! Obrigado pelo carinho. Desculpa não ter conseguido resolver o do String Elements. Tá? Foi realmente estranho isso. Damn. False alarm ID. Wait. G-Cat can time travel now? No, this is a different mysterious entity. They don't seem related to the God Cat as far as I can tell. They rescued me from a parcel bomb in the mailbox a short while ago and have since taken it upon themselves to help me find out who was responsible. Obrigado pelo abraço. Eu não sei porque que o áudio não foi. Sabe o que que é? Eu me lembrei que eu esqueci de linkar o serviço aqui. Eu não sei se isso estava sendo um problema até então, mas... Deixa eu ver. Deixa eu ver. Ah, não consigo resgatar o abraço eu mesmo. Qualquer coisa, minha mensalidade tá paga. Já posso pegar meu diploma de piada. They're remarkably enthusiastic about the issue, almost as if it were their civic duty somehow. So, a number of mysterious abilities, intimate knowledge of male safety, and a compulsion to aid random citizens. Are you sure this person isn't just your mailman, Janie? I mean, who knows what kind of magic those little guys can pull off? I'm pretty certain they have absolutely nothing to do with the profession of mail delivery in any practical sense. Anyway, the point is, we're now an hour in the past from our perspective, waiting for the perpetrator to place a bomb that not a few minutes ago threatened to blow me to Kingdom Come. It's all a bit much to take in. Sabe por que ninguém é formado na ONU? Porque lá falam muito de diplomata. Quê? Diplomata. Não entendi. Well, shucks Buster. Shucks Buster indeed. While Jane has busied herself with something on her phone, you've been keeping a lookout for anything suspicious. So far, nothing has happened. But now, just out of sight, you can hear the telltale sound of a vehicle approaching. You quickly gently elbow Jane in the ribs to get her attention, and the two of you peek your heads tentatively out of the bush. You watch as an unassuming van pulls up outside of the house. You keep watching as an unremarkable person gets out and carries a small pile of mail over to the mailbox, totally unsuspiciously. From this distance, you can't really make out anything about them at all. This isn't nearly as helpful or informative as you had hoped. Seria sinal? Não sei, talvez. This is no good. We can't see anything from all the way over there. I think we might have to resort to one of the more advanced tactics in every detective's arsenal. I propose that we accost this delivery worker, tie them up, and then scrupulously interrogate them for any information they might have. You guess that would work? James seems remarkably unconcerned with the ethical qualms inherent in assaulting a public servant, and at some point you would have found this extremely alarming, but after a few months on Alternia, you are so accustomed to this kind of thing that the thought of actually disagreeing doesn't even occur to you. Jane gets into position to lead the charge. You reach your hand into a tear in reality, rummage around for a moment, and retrieve a long length of rope from somewhere in Tarazi's hive. Hopefully she won't miss it. You mutter a quick prayer of apology to the guardian deities of male workers everywhere, and then... Now! The two of you leap from your hiding spot and tackle the hapless stranger just as they are about to climb back into the van.
have at you. Jane is brandishing her trusty spoon as threateningly as any sword. The poor, defenseless postman is taken completely by surprise and topless to the ground. You quickly tie their arms and legs, and then zap all three of you back out of sight behind the bushes again. Then Jane sets to work. She fixes your captive with a cast iron stare, and with ruthless efficiency begins to rattle off a relentless stream of astute and insightful questions. Her tongue is like a whip, beating her quarry into submission. You watch in silent horror as she verbally dismantles this unfortunate soul, piece by fearful piece. It's like watching a dozen interrogation scenes from a dozen gritty crime dramas and noir detective flicks all at once. She pretends to smoke an invisible cigar at one point, seemingly without noticing at all. You don't even have words for what she does with the spoon. When Jane finally pauses to catch her breath, the nameless and faceless courier manages to choke out a few words and spill the beans. It is a scant few beans, you are sorry to say. They say they don't know much. Hell, with a dame roughing them up like that, they can't even remember their own name. But they do remember the mysterious package marked "Handle with care" and addressed to the Crocker residence. They say they remember thinking that there was nothing else the package could have been headed. With a surname like that, it was only fitting. You know, with that big red spoon on the side of the box and everything. Jane doesn't say anything else. She just stands up and unties the prisoner. They are free to go. You flash them a look which you hope says something like, "I'm sorry for helping this distressed teenager tie you up in order to satisfy her curiosity. And hello, reticulando, tudo bom?" Yeah, hello, isso aí. Como você está, tudo bom? You flash them a look with you hope says something like, "I'm sorry for helping this distressed teenager tie you up in order to satisfy her curiosity, and I appreciate your ongoing public service. But you've never been great at non-verbal communication." A notification rings out from Jane's phone. Perhaps chatting to a friend in this trying time will offer her some comfort. You wander a short distance away, allowing Jane some space to process what's happened. You've learned the hard way that privacy is a fundamental thing that should always be respected. A fundamental right. How goes the investigation? Did you threaten a retail worker or something yet? Oh my god, Janie, you did, didn't you? Yeah, we've talked about this. Jane, are you okay? Jane, are you okay? Finalmente choveu no meu estado. Eita, aí sim, meu bom. No. I can't believe that I'm typing this. The company. My company. It appears that they were the ones who sent the bomb. Okay. You were right about them, I suppose. You're being serious right now. You're not like pranking me super hard for the magaloos. No, of course not. I'm hardly in a joking mood. Jane, this is great. What? You finally pulled through. The Batter Witch had the wool over your eyes, but no more. I'm so happy. What? No, this is awful. Aqui já tô voltando a nado pra casa faz 3 dias. Que isso, Matheus? Oh, right. Of course. What I meant was that... will you please just stop talking for a second? I can't think with your endless ruddy face blithering all the time. I nearly died for the umpteenth time this morning, but survived. only to have my entire worldview start to collapse before my very eyes by way of some mysterious time travel magic. Geez, Louise, this is easy for you. In fact, that must be Christmas and birthday come early for all three of you. You finally got what you wanted, which was to prove me wrong. Que isso? Meu Deus. Your insane collective conspiracy about my entire life being part of some evil plot looks like it might just hold water after all. Congratulations. Go on, say that you told me so. Here, I'll even type it out for you to copy and paste, so you don't have to worry about any more spelling errors. I told you so. No? I'm not really sure what to say. You're kinda scaring me. I'm sorry, this is scaring me too. Jane sighs. You guess the conversation must be taking a turn for the heavy, but you can't say for sure. You're feeling good about your decision not to pry into this private discussion. It would truly be some kind of fucked up to intrude at such a vulnerable moment, when people are rarely seen at their best. It feels as though I'm in the middle of an ocean. Esse jogo lembra Omori? Mais ou menos, né? Mais ou menos, nem tanto. It feels as though I'm in the middle of an ocean. Esse jogo ele me lembra mais Doki Doki. Scratch that. It feels like my whole world is an ocean. Something so immense, so dark, so vast and deep that I can't even begin to imagine what might be beneath the surface. Everything that I have ever known, everything that I've ever been, is sinking down into it and vanishing with nary a trace. And my only solace is to jump of my own volition before I'm pulled under by force. And what? Is someone going to catch me and help me stay afloat? The only float my best friend in the whole world has any familiarity with is flipping cocktails. Oh my god, Janie, I know you're like being kind of mean and exasperated right now, but it means a lot to hear that I'm your best friend. I love you, heart. Pseudo-monocromáticos. Ah, entendo seu ponto. Rollo, please. I'm only trying to express the depths of my existential confusion over here. The ocean, Lalonde. The abyssal, infinite ocean. Can you even imagine what that's like? On second thought, never mind. This whole analogy is contrived and nonsensical, and couldn't possibly have any emotional relevance to anyone. Another sigh. God, I'm sorry. I'm not handling this well at all. I mean, to be honest, no. But... Que é LBR? Não sei. I don't know what precise arrangement of emotional responses would even realistically qualify as quite handling this well. Fishpan, a topic for topic appropriateness. Vídeo de é real ok, que a pessoa bota uma parada na mesa e começa a cortar e bum, é bolo. O vídeo que eu mais gostei disso foi a moça que sentou na poltrona. Ela imediatamente notou que era bolo. Ela sentou assim 2 segundos na poltrona e falou: "Isso aqui é bolo?" E daí ela começou a rir pra caralho. Like, I had like this whole plan for how I'd get you to accept the truth, and it would have worked because, let's be real, I'm a fucking genius, but also I'm pretty sure that it would have involved blowing up a whole bunch more shit. Or at least mega espacades. Espacados. É, tipo um talk show, né? Eu vi só a parte do bolo mesmo. Só que esses programas assim, tipo da Netflix, de é isso ou é bolo, eu nunca vi. Só uns sketches do TikTok que eu vi. How about shenanigans? Oh, you know it. Shenanigans out of the ass. The point is, I knew that it would be hard. Maybe hazardous to our relationship and your physical health. But I knew that you were worth it. And also for what it's worth. I don't give a effing fuck about drinking on your ass. None of us do. With the third and final huff, Jane slumps down on the ground, visibly deflated. All the tempest and fury is gone out of her, and now she's just sitting and gazing glumly at the wall of bubblegum pink on her screen. She seems utterly miserable. You want to comfort her, to offer solace and friendly counsel in this trying time? There comes a moment in every teen's upbringing when she realizes that the globe-spanning multi-billion-dollar corporation, which is her birthright, has also been responsible for some pretty shady and heinous nonsense, including multiple attempts on her own life. It's just part of growing up. But somehow, you just can't find the words, and maybe it's not your place to comment anyway. Before you can think of something to say, Jane shakes her head and starts typing again. Já jogou um jogo chamado Valhalla? É sobre ser um bartender em um barzinho da periferia do mundo cyberpunk. Não. Nunca ouvi falar desse jogo. Deixa eu pesquisar. É seguro pesquisar? Isso é uma pegadinha? Você tá falando sério? Hoje é o dia do pessoal me recomendar jogos, né? Engraçado. Nossa, realmente é o nome do negócio. VA11 Hall A. Mas também pode ser lido como Valhalla, né? Eu não tô louca não, né? Cyberpunk Bartender Action is a beat 'em up about waifus, technology and post-dystopia life. Achei interessante. Deixa eu colocar na lista de desejos. Obrigada aí pela recomendação. Ah, é do povo que fez Coffee Talks? Eu tô afim de jogar o Coffee Talks. Parece ser legal esse jogo. Tá, talvez não seja do povo que fez o Coffee Talks, mas tem um negócio aqui que tá colocando o Coffee Talks junto. Olha só, tá colocando... Tem um conjunto aqui que tem Monster Prom, esse Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender, o Red Strings Club, que é um jogo que eu tenho, que eu quero jogar também, o Coffee Talk e o Pesterquest. Tá colocando todos no mesmo bundle. Que interessante. Voltando aqui pro jogo, que a gente deve estar quase terminando essa última rota. Essa live tá levando mais tempo do que as outras de Pesterquest, né? Engraçado. Também eu pausei várias vezes, fui tentar ver o erro do Discord lá, fui tentar arrumar um negócio pro Shun, fui pegar janta, fui comer, nossa. Desculpa aí que essa live tá enrolada, gente, mas ela tá quase acabando, pro bem da minha garganta. Alright, that's enough sitting around feeling all forlorn. I'm feeling pretty okay, actually. No, me. I'm talking about myself. This new reality is one that I simply have to accept, whether I like it or not, and it's no good being glum about it. Especially not if it leads me to mistreat my nearest and dearest. Valhalla KK.
Me diverti muito com ele, acabei nunca zerando por questões de droga, 3 da manhã, tenho que trabalhar. Mas o pouco que eu joguei era realmente bem carismático. Ai, que da hora. Não a parte de que você tava acordado até depois das 3 da manhã, mas tipo, que da hora. Ah, quando ele tiver numa promoçãozinha, eu vou ver se eu pego.
So, I'm not going to be the leader of a worldwide mega corporation. Big deal. There are better things to be applying my savvy, I don't know. The friends who have my back, for instance. Oh my god, Janie, I'm loving this new enthusiasm. I understand I've been remiss in my duties as of late, but that ends now. Where once I had a duty to my heritage, now I have a duty to those who care about me. The call of leadership comes from elsewhere. Oh my god, yes, these words are typing, meaningful and full of poignancy. Jane strikes a pose that looks at once determined, bold, fearless, and resolute, and all while still typing furiously away on her mobile. It just goes to show how hard she must have trained for a moment like this. And so, for my first act as a responsible friend with eye unclouded by the sugary haze of a manipulative baking empire, I say that it ends here. The game in which we've been pawns for years stops today. Hell yes. I think I've rather gone off the idea of games altogether, haven't you? Specifically, the game. Ah, perdi. How fucking... wait, what? The alpha! I've decided that I'm not going to participate. It's a Crocker Corp product, and it's clearly part of some grand evil scheme or another. It would be positively suicidal to consider playing it at this point. Well, yes, but what? There's no doubt in my mind about it. Furthermore, as your friend, and as one recently reminded of her duty of care in this regard, I feel like I should strongly advise against any of us playing it, or anyone at all for that matter. Now that I think about it, it's our solemn responsibility to ensure that nobody ever gets their hand on this game. Just imagine the havoc it could wreak. We've got 1 week before the alpha is due to release. I'm certain we can think up some nefarious schemes to disrupt it in the meantime, if we work together as a team. I trust I'll be able to count on your hacksaw skills in this endeavor. Sure. Completely accidental lack of excitement. My 6 kills are yours to command. I knew it. You're the best BFFC one could hope for.
Também tô com preguiça de voltar a jogar, porque é um jogo onde você tem que decorar os gostos dos clientes fixos do bar pra poder ganhar mais pontos. E depois de 1 ano e meio sem jogar, eu acho que não vou lembrar das bebidas favoritas deles. Ah, caraca, velho. É, tem que voltar, tem que retreinar suas skills de barman digital, né? O Coffee Talks parece ser assim também, só que com café. Eu não sei, eu nunca joguei, mas eu tenho vontade. Jane clears her throat, pockets her phone, and seems to have reached some kind of conclusion. That chat looked from the outside like it was one huge emotional journey from start to finish. You're glad that Jane seems to be feeling better for having had it, whatever they ended up talking about. Sometimes, all you need is a friend to vent things towards in a healthy and productive manner. I suppose I should thank you again. Without your help, I may never have learned the truth. It's quite possible I would have lived out the rest of my potentially very short life without another opportunity to see things for what they really were. I don't know how I shall ever repay you. Since nothing today has changed the fact that Jane is ludicrously wealthy, you can think of a great number of ways that she could feasibly repay you.
but that might just be pushing it a little too far all at once. So instead, you effortlessly spin some yarn about this being what friends are for, and so on. It's a speech you've given many times before. I've depended on you for a great deal, but now I think it's time to forge my own path and under my own steam. I'll show the world that what Jane Crocker can accomplish with naught but her two bare hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an existential crisis to avert. Existential crisis? O quê? Então ela nunca vai jogar Sburby. Caraca, velho. É isso. Cooking by the book. You set Jane down the path of leadership. Na semana que vem, a gente vai ver o Jake e a minha queridinha Roxy. Era exército, pessoal. Vocês gostaram? Hoje, recapitulando, a gente viu Volume 10, Route 2, Life in the Dream House, e também Volume 11, The Call of Leadership. Semana que vem, então, nós veremos Volume 12, That's Right, Adventure! E Volume 13, Friendship Wizard. Era exército, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado da live de hoje. Deixa eu colocar aqui, deixar pronto pra semana que vem. Semana que vem é o menino Jake. E eu vou ficando por aqui, que eu já estou cansada. No sentido que eu estou sem voz. Eu vejo vocês amanhã, às 7h30 da noite. Eu vou jogar Undertale. Eu estou presa naquela aranha maldita que eu não consigo sair dela. Eu espero passar dela amanhã, mas eu não garanto nada, porque ela realmente está sendo difícil pra mim. Aceito dicas. Sim, você chegou na live, não no final, mas quase no final, né? Essa live ela durou mais tempo, tá? Geralmente ela acaba mais cedo. Até amanhã, não vai ter genocídio para Matheus. Até amanhã, pessoal. Muito obrigada aí pela companhia, pelos resub, pelos donate, por tudo, gente. Até mais. Beijo.